Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be continuing the saga of the Kanye West Meltdown. Now, just when you think it could never get any worse, it somehow gets 10 times worse, and it's almost like a magical character trait about the guy at this point. Whenever you think that he's like taken it to the limit of whatever he could say, he finds a new way somehow to pull it off. Now, in the last video I made talking about this, we discussed like the first day or two of the entire Twitter crash out, but we're at the point now where it got so bad he ended up like deactivating his account. A whole bunch of stuff happened. So yesterday, I get up, I go through my routine and whatnot. I finally come to start making some videos, and I get on Twitter and I'm like getting ready to look for topics or like look for stuff to talk about. And the first like 3 or 4 things on my timeline that I see are just like big bootied bitches, African-American penis, you know what I mean? I'm just stunned at this point. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, right? And then I see who is posting all of this stuff to my timeline, and it is none other than Mr. Ye himself. And I don't know why I would ever be surprised at really anything this guy posts at this point, but I think it's fair to say everybody watching this video, you probably have had a time or two where the hub has been a pretty fun experience, right? It's been something you really enjoyed. There's probably a couple videos that come to mind for you or whatever, right? Well, apparently that's the same thing happening to Ye, because he decided to wake up yesterday and let everybody know about said videos. Now, obviously, I can't show you what he posted because it is literal pornography, but he spent like several hours straight. And of course, this is after like all of the Jewish rants, after all the Nazi stuff, after, he's on there fucking saying he's up there like hiling the big guy himself in the whole thing, right? He's over there just wilding out. And then I guess he just got a little worked up, you know what I mean? And so he decided to spend several hours straight posting basically like Pornhub footage all over everybody's timeline. So like I said, at this point, you can never be really surprised when he says or does something. It was just like being the first thing that I saw, I'm just like, hell no, man, this is insane, right? And it wasn't like he only posted like one clip, maybe 2 clips. He just spammed the entire fucking timeline with this porn for hours upon hours. I mean, like over a dozen clips. It got to the point where I had to like just get off Twitter for a few hours. And of course, everybody's reacting to this shit like, what is he doing? You know what I mean? Like, what is even the point in what he's doing? Now, the really ironic part about him posting all of this like porn and shit to his timeline is Ye has been very vocal in the past about, porn being disgusting. It's basically like very detrimental to you, things like that. I mean, this is the same guy that you'll see in this screenshot here now is saying, I'd like to thank the Jews for porn, and I'm not being sarcastic, I love it a lot. But then people are sharing screenshots of a couple years ago. This is the same guy saying, remove any and all forms of this shit from Twitter and every platform. It's the product of pedophilia. When grown men look at it, they're watching someone's daughter relive their trauma for money. So it's like, you see that, and then you see what he's up to now, where his entire account has essentially just become like a repository for Pornhub highlights. And you're just like, wow, this is somebody who has entirely switched their viewpoint on basically everything in their life. I mean, I think a lot of people over the years, they became really attached to Kanye and his music because of the message, right? I mean, even from early in his career, this is the same guy who got on national TV and said that George Bush didn't care about black people. The same guy who's made songs like New Slaves, right? Where, he has this like really important triumphant message that is supposed to like resonate with millions upon millions of people, right? So when everyone like gets on board for all these like messages and they think that what he's saying is like good, seeing him like constantly go back on it now and just say pretty much the exact opposite or do the exact opposite, it's just pretty fucking wild to witness. Like I said, it pretty much ruined the timeline for like a third of the day. And I mean, after everything, right, the dozens of tweets about Jewish people, all of the like Nazi shit that he's been up to and saying, right, I thought that was going to be like kind of like a one-time thing when it first happened, because like, the first incident a couple of years ago when all this shit happened, right, it all happened within the span of like a couple weeks, and then he like basically apologized for it or whatever, and then everything kind of went back to normal for a while. But this time, man, he's like reiterated it and said it so many times. I really don't think that we're ever going to get an evolution past this point where he just basically comes out and like apologizes or denounces any of it. In fact, throughout this entire like, you know, breakdown or whatever he's having on Twitter, he has said multiple times that like it feels freeing to say all this. He's finally getting what he wants off of his chest, shit like that, right? Well, then he does something that honestly I really couldn't have expected. He somehow got another fucking Super Bowl ad. So after everything that's happened, after everything that he said in the last couple of days, all the like shit that he's done or whatever, right? He still apparently put up the $8 million to get himself a Super Bowl ad. Now, it didn't play for everybody during the Super Bowl last night because I watched the event. I didn't see the commercial on TV, but lots of people were posting on Twitter that Ye had another Super Bowl commercial where, of course, he's promoting his Yeezy.com shit. Another one of these like phone shot videos, basically, like he did the first time. And I'm not gonna lie, that one kind of took me for a loop because usually like the Super Bowl, it's this like family-friendly event. They want to like watch who is there and saying things or doing things right. Well, not only did like Kendrick perform at halftime last night, called Drake a pedo in front of the entire world, but yeah, Ye got his own commercial during the entire thing where he looks like a fucking Disney villain or something, right? And then when you go to his website as of last night, there's no fucking music pre-orders anymore. There's no like normal shirts or like Yeezy clothing anymore. They don't even have the like the fucking White Lives Matter shirts that he put out again a couple days ago, right? The only product on the entire Yeezy website, as of me recording this video, because he keeps changing it every day or whatever, but as of right now, the only shirt that he has is a plain white t-shirt with a fucking swastika dead center. I wish I was making this up. I wish I was trolling, right? But the only piece of official Yeezy merchandise you can purchase at this moment is literally a white t-shirt with a black swastika printed onto it. So basically, he put out a Super Bowl advertisement where the whole point, I guess, is like, imagine you don't listen to Kanye or like you don't follow him or whatever. You don't really know what's going on. You're like, oh, okay, well, the rapper guy has his own merchandise. Let me go check this one out. And then you just go on there, you know, your grandpa Betty or John or whatever, he fucking goes on there and he's like, oh wait, swastika shirt, what the fuck is going on here? Now I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how well that shirt is gonna sell. I have to imagine that there's gonna be some like unironic Nazis or whatever that do buy it, and then there's probably gonna be like a lot of like Ye fans or people who think that it's funny or that it's like a troll or whatever who are gonna buy it. But I mean, that's just one of those things where it's like, where exactly can you wear that shirt, at least out in public, where shit is gonna be like okay to wear that? I would figure if you just try to walk into like Sunoco or something with your Ye swastika shirt on, somebody might try to kill you in the fucking parking lot or like hit you in the back of the head with a brick while you're walking to your car or something, right? I mean, you gotta think, that's not the most pleasant symbol to be putting on your clothing, right? For instance, when you go to Optimus, you're not gonna see very many similar shirts, right? It's just like a very divisive, very fucking insane thing to wear on a shirt out in public or whatever. I would imagine that people purchasing said shirt more than likely will only be wearing that one around the house. So I also want to point out that I paid $8 million for a Super Bowl ad last night. I put the money forward and I didn't even get my commercial aired in the first place. So they're out here letting Ye put his swastika shirt up at the Super Bowl on advertisements. They didn't show it, of course, but they're letting him market that shit, but you can't even get Optimus advertised on there. Did you know I sell merch? It's pretty cool. I think about it all the time. Now, I want you to think about it all the time. Buy it. Buy a shirt. Buy my books, okay? Buy a mouse pad. They're really great. Buy a fucking hoodie. Why haven't you bought it? It's only one hoodie. It's only one shirt. Why haven't you bought it? Is there a reason you haven't bought it yet? Go ahead, buy it real quick. It's not that much. Fucking buy it. Why haven't you bought it yet? Why haven't you fucking bought it yet? Why haven't you bought it yet? Go buy it! Go buy it! So during the midst of all of this, another rapper you might know by the name of Kodak Black, a video basically hit the internet of this guy. He's had, you know, a history of drug problems and whatnot. Basically, he's like kind of tweaked out in South Florida. He's like sitting in the middle of the street, like staring at the ground, eating chicken and shit. Just like, it's a pretty sad video to watch, honestly. I hate seeing people in situations like that, especially like successful people. But now Ye posted a video during the midst of like this entire fucking shit show on his own account, right? Where everyone's wondering if this guy's like off of his meds, if he's like going through a fucking manic breakdown or something. Well, during the midst of like his own crisis that everyone's worried about him in, he is now focused on going to Florida to try and help and find Kodak Black and get him like out of the street eating chicken and shit, like back into a more normal headspace. So then after like all of this, right, after all of the porn, after basically the swastika shirt, the Super Bowl ad, all of this shit that happened yesterday, even the day before, Elon Musk unfollows Ye off of X. I guess a few other people also unfollowed him off of his page and whatnot too. Honestly, I usually don't care about that. The only reason I even really mention that Elon unfollowed him is the fact that Ye has mentioned him a couple times during this whole like rant. And then also, obviously, Elon owns the entire fucking platform. So I guess he wanted to separate himself from like all of the shit that's going on the page or whatever. Didn't want to make it look like he endorsed it or whatnot. But I figure most people are smart enough to know that if you just like follow somebody's page, that's not inherently like indicative of your support or like you stand 100% behind everything they say. That's a pretty fucking stupid mentality to hold, really. But like, I guess even for Elon, like it was just too much. He was probably fucking like sitting in a SpaceX meeting or something, scrolling his timeline. Then suddenly Lana Rhoades pops up throwing it back. And he's like, yeah, I can't fucking do this anymore. But like I said, it's just like you think that it's finally over or like, well, this is the lowest it's gonna go, right? And then somehow we find a new way to just like throw a wrench in the entire thing or like make it even more of a story. Now, the thing is, when it comes to like all of this ranting and shit, I don't think it's really gonna go down like it did the first time. I mean, like the first incident when this all happened a couple years ago with Ye, I mean, they went like for everything. I mean, banks were like closing his personal accounts so that he couldn't use his money or whatever in them. He lost all of his deals like with Adidas and shit. Well, now he doesn't have any of those deals to worry about. So I'm kind of wondering like who and what could really like try and punish him at this point. I think that's part of the reason why he's doing it. It's like now he's probably at like the freest point in his career to kind of just say whatever the fuck he wants to. And I think he's just kind of taking full advantage of that now to just like push his name and brand the furthest that it can go. I'm not saying that it's like great that he's doing it or whatever, but I really don't think that like what happened the first time where it seemed like the world kind of turned against him, I don't really see that happening this time around because I mean, we're at the point where he's already done it before and he's gotten away with it pretty much. I don't think that now all of a sudden the like banks and everybody are gonna really give a fuck enough to like really try and chase him down or do much. They weren't successful the first time. I don't think that they're gonna even attempt it the second time. I think most people at this point are kind of just trying to like turn their head and ignore what's going on here. Like a really bad car accident or whatever, people are like, oh fuck, I don't want to see the bodies get dragged out of the wreckage, right? Like it's a pretty insane situation to watch. And I mean, I just like I think about it sometimes. I'm like, man, imagine going back 10 years in time in a time machine to like a Ye concert or something, right? And just announcing to the audience that this guy in a decade is going to be selling you a fucking swastika t-shirt on his store. That'll be the only thing you can buy on the whole fucking website. I don't know how people would react. I'm sure you could probably get some people to believe it. I mean, he was still having like, you know, mental breakdowns and stuff back then. It just never got to this point. Like we never got to the whole erase our clothing brand for like Sean John collabs and Nazi shirts, right? So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubTheOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus talking about the continued Ye crash out and signing out.